I feel joy. There's a joy in knowing that something that I did many years ago had an effect. It touched people's lives, and I think this is one of the great things about songs of worship, that they can find a place in people's heart, but also in their minds, because songs teach. They're about something. So it's kind of a deposit into somebody's whole spiritual development, at a certain time.
Yes.
And that's a very precious thing to do. It's also, it just reminds me what a responsibility it is in the writing of those songs, that the songs are the best I can make them to leave that a deposit of truth, So I feel very honored to have had that opportunity in my life.
We are so happy because the way Lord has used you in our lives and in the history of our nation and church history in Poland, it's you take a big part of it. And so we're so happy that we can spend time with you now, and we can share lives and now like walk together. And so what is how will you describe deposit in a song? What does it mean? What is a worship song so special? Is it just an expression of a heart? Why it's so impacting our life and gathering us together?
It comes down to the power of the gospel. What are we singing about? There are many kinds of songs for many different situations, and I've written many kinds of songs. I've written songs to express my own experience and heart and the way I see the world. But when it comes to the church, we are singing ancient truths, and one of the songwriter's jobs, I think, is to take ancient truths and make them fresh. Not to change the truth, but culture changes, so we need to change the way that we express. Music styles change, and language changes. So in every generation, there needs to be new songs that touch that generation. But the important thing is, and I think as years go by, I see it as more and more important, is that we ensure that the content of our songs is the original gospel, because there are many gospels, in the sense that all throughout history, people have tried to change this or change that, or and some of the fundamental truths. But in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, the Apostle Paul talks about, he says to the churches he's writing to, I delivered to you what I received. And then he talks about Jesus, Christ, Son of God, crucified, risen from the dead, and that he was seen by many witnesses. It's something that happened, out of which flows, God's whole plan of saving, salvation for the world. And elsewhere, Paul talks about how he checked his gospel because he didn't meet the original apostles for many years. He had his own Damascus Road experience where he saw Jesus in a vision. And then he unpacked, because he was an incredible scholar of the ancient Jewish scriptures. So he kind of went into the scriptures, into what we would call the Old Testament scriptures, to read how, if Jesus is in there, then you are the real Jesus that I saw on the road to Damascus. And so he developed a theology, but then years later, he went back to Jerusalem and he met the original apostles and checked that this is it. Is this it? You know, Peter, you know, the leader of the church, is this it? You know, and Peter says, yeah, this is it. And it's the same gospel today that we seek to follow and obey. And worship songs need to have, you can't say everything in one song, you know, but every song says something about this great story. And we need to ensure that it's what we received, not what we are constructing out of influence too much by this cultural moment.